Share my
There you
screen.
go. That's a little message.
Perfect. Mhm.
All right. I have 1 p.m. Frankie. Do you have?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not 1 p.m. for you, but go
It's
ahead.
not, it's 10 a.m. No worries. Well, yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Layla and I will be going over the importance of having a community website for your HOA and condominium. Layla will be doing kind of the first part of the presentation, and then I will be actually jumping into a live product demo of our Neighbors by Vinteum communication software. So I'll go ahead and enter the next slide. And Layla, do you want to take it?
Yeah, just before we get started, just a few housekeeping things. Like I said a minute ago, this webinar is going to be recorded, so you will receive the recording and the slides after this. We'll send that to you by Monday at the latest. And for using Zoom, your microphones and cameras are off. You can interact with other participants and us in the chat. If you switch it to everyone, everyone can see your message. Otherwise, you can message specific people. And please use the Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen, to ask any questions that you have. We'll be answering questions at the end. And in the chat, often there is a lot of messages and questions get lost. So please use the Q&A to ask any questions that you might have. And like Frankie said, we're going to be going into everything you need to know about HOA and condo websites. But before we tell you about websites, we're going to tell you about ourselves.
Yes, everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Frank Hammer. I'm the account executive here at Vinteum Software. I am from Southern California, but currently reside in Sacramento. When I'm not working, I love to go snowboarding, go hiking, hang out with my dog Finley, and I enjoy cooking new recipes. I've currently been working with Vinteum about 2 years now, so really excited about all the opportunities that it has presented me, and of course working beside my coworker Layla.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Layla Scola. I'm the head of marketing and customer success here at Vinteum. I'm based in our Brazil office, but I'm British, hence the accent. I'm a graduate of the University of Southampton in the UK. I started working with Vinteum in 2018, starting in customer support and then moving into customer success and marketing as well. And in my free time, I enjoy walking my dogs and reading lots of books. So that's me. We should have decided who was going to say this slide. I can talk about Vinteum. So Vinteum is a software company. We've been in the market for 10 years now, going on 10 years. We started with our software Neighgbrs by Vinteum, which provides secure, easy to use websites and communication and management portals for HOAs and condos across North America. And we focus on improving communication and management. You can see some of our awards there, some of our stats. Yeah, so in this webinar, we're going to be talking about our software Neighgbrs by Vinteum. We have recently launched a new inspection software called Inspections by Vinteum as well. So if you do inspections, if you're interested in that, please do reach out and let us know. So in this presentation, we're going to be going through the benefits of having a good website, engaging residents with your site, how to monetize it, how you can ensure privacy online, what website templates are and how they work. And then Frankie will be going into a live demo of our website and Neighgbrs by Vinteum portal. And then we'll have a Q&A section at the end. And then right at the end, we have a little discount for you. We're going to be launching our end of year sale, so stick around for that as well. All right. So let's start off by talking about the benefits of a website. So the benefits of having a website for your HOA and condo start with transparency and satisfaction. Having a website improves your HOA or condo's transparency because you're making information easily accessible to your residents. So that means that residents won't have to go and ask the secretary or the manager for specific documents if they need a copy of the rules or if they need to fill in a form to book an amenity. They'll be able to do all that online from your website. So you can share documents, special announcements, events, and local government and city resources to help your residents find their way around not only the community, but the city as a whole. And it provides a single hub of information for your residents and for the board and manager as well. So next slide, please. To help you save time and help residents find what they need quickly, you can create a frequently asked questions or an FAQ section. That means that you could take all the questions that you're frequently asked. So often residents come and they'll have the same questions. They'll become quite repetitive for the board if you're answering all the time. And you could concentrate all of those questions into one single place. And those could include amenity reservations, the amenity opening times, trash collection, decorating rules. I'm sure you have so many questions that you get asked that are just the same every single day. An FAQ document can help you save time because you could just say, check the FAQ section rather than having to answer the same question over and over. And eventually residents will learn if they know that they can find information in your website, they won't even go to the board anymore. They'll go straight to the website to find the information they need and only reach out if they actually need help, which again, saves you so much time. As well as that, it makes board transitions easier because you won't have to walk through all of this stuff with the new board. They can use the website to find information that they need and to help with that board transition. As well as that, as I've mentioned a little bit earlier, a website provides a hub of communication and information so the board can focus their efforts on one single place. So that means that rather than having to have a spreadsheet as your database, Zoom for meetings, an email tool like Gmail or Constant Contact to send out emails, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you have so many tools that you've used to help manage your HOA or condo. Rather than having all of those things, you can have one single software that will give you all of that in one place. And a website will do that for you. So that saves the board as well as your manager a lot of time. Everything will be streamlined. It will be in one single platform rather than scattered around in different places. It also makes it a lot more convenient to residents, as I mentioned, because they'll know where to go for information. They won't have to ask the board, go to the office, talk to the manager just to find a single document. They can just go online and find it instantly inside your website. And then the final benefit, which may be one of the largest ones, is that it is working 24/7. So when you are off enjoying your leisure time, your website is there for residents and potential buyers to find out information on your community, find out what they need to know from anywhere. So if you have snowbird residents or a lot of tenants, people who rent out their homes, they can use the website. Everything's there. It doesn't matter where you are, your website will be available. So even if setting up a website might seem like a big project now, it will save you a lot of time and give you a lot of benefits in the middle and long term. That means that the board and managers can focus on other more important tasks like your new budget or that renovation project that really needs to get done and is just so hard to organize, rather than having to answer questions all the time and find out where different documents and pieces of information are, because it will be all in one place and you can focus on bigger and better things. But even if you know all of these different benefits, it can still be hard to persuade other board members and residents that having a website is a worthwhile project, as well as a worthwhile thing to spend money on. Budgets are always tight. It's always hard to decide what to spend money on. But if you can say that you could monetize your site to help pay for the cost and make a profit above that, there you go. You've got more interest right there. So you can make your website into a stream of income by placing ads for local businesses. So this is something that would help your residents. It would help them find out the best restaurants are around, or mechanics, or whatever other local businesses you have. They can find them in one place, and businesses often even offer HOAs, call them up, say, can you place an advert for my business in your website, to help them get the word out that they exist, that they're there. And this can turn into regular income for your HOA and condo, that can, like I said, pay for the website and give you an extra bit of profit, some money that you can play with. And paying for your website often offsets that cost. It also offsets that cost by reducing printing. So all your forms or your surveys can be done online, so that you wouldn't have to print so much paper and spend money on paper and ink. You could have everything online in one place, so that you don't have to spend on that. So it is an investment that is really worth doing, and it's really not that expensive. Having a website is cheap, I would say, and it is so worth it for everyone in the community. So the board, managers, and residents, absolutely everyone benefits from this. But for everyone to benefit, you need to engage your residents. And from my experience working with HOAs and condos and their websites for the past 4 years or so, I found that when a board truly adopts a website as its tool, as the place where they're going to post information that residents can find out what they need to know in the community, residents will follow, and residents will check that regularly. So when they see that the board is updating it regularly, posting all the information that they need, residents will really come to rely on that to find out everything that's going on. So if they feel in the dark, the website will really help them with that, because they can find out when the next meeting is, when your next event is, why trash hasn't been cleaned up. They can find all of that out in one place. But for it to be relied on by the community, it does really need to have a clear layout and be easy to use. So if your website has really small text, or it's hard to navigate, or the colors aren't clear, you can't read it properly, people are going to give up on that. There's just no two ways around it. So at Vinteum, what we do is we offer you different website templates so that you can pick the one that best fits your community. And we also provide you with manuals, videos, and we're currently working on posters to help the boards to engage with their residents and get their residents using their website quicker. Right, I've talked a lot, but I'm not done, because the other concern that we hear a lot is about privacy. People are really worried about their information online. What if hackers could get hold of the community's financial documents or residents' private contact information? That is a huge worry, and I completely understand that. But the solution to that is using a password protected section. So you can have a front end website. So this would have information on your community, your services that you offer, homes that are for sale, information that you don't mind the world knowing. And then in a password protected area, you can have your confidential documents and resident only information. As well as having that division from public and private, you also need to work with a company who you trust, who can tell you that your information is going to be safe with them and how they keep that information safe. So that's a really key part of it as well. You should work with a provider that you trust. All right, I've talked a lot about the theory of websites and what you can do with one, but how do you actually get one set up? So using a website template, that becomes really easy. So a website template are ready-made templates that you can go in and customize to fit your vision of what your community website is going to look like. So you would choose from a library of templates, the structure, the template that you want, and then change the color, change the images, change the text so that it reflects your community and shows who you guys are. Using a website template, you can get your website up and running in a matter of hours and days rather than weeks and months. And it cuts the cost down a lot, because often when you work with a designer, only they know how to code the website, set it up. It takes a long time. It's very costly. Using a website template, you don't need to know how to code. The structure's already there. You just put the information into it. You can edit it whenever you want. So it's really easy to keep it updated and keep it useful for residents. So how do these actually work? Like I said, you can choose what information you want to be on there. And there are some templates that are more geared towards HOAs and condos than others. So you could use a generic tool and that would have the information that you might need, but it doesn't always provide the depth that HOAs and condos want. So it might not include amenity reservations, for instance, or that password protected area that I mentioned earlier. So using these templates, you can really go in and make it clear to residents what they can use. So, sorry, I'm not explaining myself very well. So using these templates, you can have a very clear public section as well as a clear private section to help your residents be clear on what they can find where, so that they can also feel safe when they're using these websites. All right. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A and we'll answer those later. So any confusion, let us know. So how do you choose the best template for you? You need to have two things to be able to do that. And I say two things, these are at the same time. It's not that you have one first and then one second. You need to know these more or less in parallel. So firstly, the board needs a clear idea of what they're going to be using this website for. Some boards really want it to be a community hub. They want resident input. They want a social network. They want people to talk to each other. Others really want it to just be a place where residents can find documents and find when the next board meeting is, and that's it. That's up to you. You know your community best, and you can decide that. You also need to decide what will be available to who. So when you have owners and tenants, you need to decide who can see what. So possibly everyone will get information on upcoming events, but only owners are invited to board meetings and only they can see the meeting minutes, for instance. That's up to you to decide what you're going to be using it for and who will have access to what. You can choose that with a good website template. And secondly, you need to know what residents want and what they have the capability of using. So if you have an older community, then having a website that is clear, simple, easy to read, easy to use is what you would want to go for. You'd want information to be easily accessed, but possibly you would still need to have paper copies available for these residents. Or if your community is a lot younger, then you might feel comfortable by having everything online and not having any paper copies at all. So cutting paper architectural requests, removing paper forms for booking amenities, not having paper newsletters anymore. Absolutely everything could be online if they feel more comfortable with using the portal and website for all of that. So who your audience is and what you want to achieve is really key to your website template and what solution you're going to go for. And now Frankie is going to go into our solution, Neighbrs by Vinteum, and over to you, Frankie.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I will go ahead and jump into a demo of our Neighbrs by Vinteum software. Excellent presentation, Layla. I think one really key point that you made there is having a template-based solution such as ours makes it really easy to make any edits or adjustments to the public-facing website. You don't need a high-level knowledge of coding or WordPress or anything like that. And you don't have to rely on, like you mentioned, a designer to continue to make edits to your website because you don't really know how reliable they're going to be in the future, in the next 6 months, year, 2 years, where you're going to go from there. So leading into our presentation, this is going to be an example of a public-facing website we can build out for your community. I do have 3 different kind of sample websites that kind of showcase some of our different templates. And this first one is my absolute favorite, designed by Layla Scola herself. Her Sea Lights community, we can go ahead and provide a nice background image right here, logo at the top left-hand side, a tagline associated with the community. And then these are the various tabs we can have on the public-facing website, but keep in mind, being that it's template-based, you can remove any of these sections really simply or rename any of the tabs if you'd like. But with this specific template, as I scroll down, you can go ahead and view all the tabs on the one central page. You can have your About Us section, letting folks know what makes your community unique to family members, prospective buyers, just kind of a great window into what makes the community unique. Then right here is an image gallery, just kind of highlighting some of the different features within the community, kind of just showing off the niceties. And then scrolling down, you can have your address, letting folks know exactly where the community is located, just an interactive Google map. And then scrolling down, you can have your list of community news. So this is kind of an area on the public-facing website where you can post different communication topics, but your everyday communication will be located within the portal, and I'll go ahead and show you that here shortly. But just a great way to go ahead and let folks know what's going on within the community, this sort of information that you want on the public-facing website. Then right here is going to be a list of services. Again, you could rename this tab so it doesn't have to be entitled services. You can make it a little bit more unique to your community's needs. This is just a great place on the website where you can have a variety of sub pages with different information. So when you click on See All here, it's going to take you to a separate page that is going to go ahead and show you all these different sub pages with different information, such as your rules and regulations, office hours. As Layla mentioned, this would probably be a great place for frequently asked questions. So if a resident does have a question, they can go to that instead of reaching out directly to you every time they do have a question. And then going back to the main page, the next item here is going to be some information about our downloadable app. So Neigbrs does have an iOS and Android application that is associated with our portal. So a lot of the same functionality that's available within the desktop is also available from the app. What's great about this is you can access your community website and community information from wherever you are, directly from your smartphone or tablet. Then right here is a contact us form, pretty straightforward, but just an easy way folks can reach out to you and the board. You can essentially assign this contact us form to a specific member of the community, such as your property manager, president, whatever it might be. And whenever someone goes ahead and sends a message, it'll go directly to them. Then right here is another contact form for resident questions if you'd like, but again, you could remove this if you don't want to have multiple forms. And then right here is a list of classified Sony units that are for sale or for rent within the community. Go and post about those here. And then at the bottom right hand side, you can see that we do have links to any outside social media sources. So if you do have a community, Facebook, Instagram, we can go provide those direct links. Going to go ahead and show you a couple of more sample websites that we've built. This is our Riverside community. This is my typical demo website, but again, similar to how it's displayed, but just a little bit different with this template. Each individual section is a little bit more unique. It's a little bit differently displayed, just to show you here. And then this one is even more unique. This is our Astor Place community. This is a great website that can show off a condominium specifically. This one, you can go ahead and click through the different tabs. It's not all centrally located on the one page. As you can see here, you can click through. And then as Layla mentioned, as a way to monetize your community website, you can go ahead and have information about local sponsors. So we just edited one of the sections on the website to include local sponsors, which again is just a great way to go ahead and monetize your website. It can help offset the cost of building this website really easily, but you could also potentially profit by having multiple sponsors, such as a real estate company, restaurant, etc. Now, again, all this information on the website is public. It's accessible to really anyone on the internet, right? We want to make sure that the private information for residents and for the board is safe and secure, and that's going to be under Access Your Community. That's going to take you to your own branded login page. So once you click on that, it's going to take you to your own login page with your own customized background image. Your community logo will be front and center. And then again, here's some more information about our downloadable apps. We do have our iOS and Android application. So then once you go ahead and click on login here, it's going to take you to the front page of the backend portal. So right here, this is going to be my front page of the backend portal for my Riverside sample community. You can see that all the features are listed front and center, as well as on the left-hand side as well. Now, these are more of our commonly used features, but I just want to go ahead and quickly show you how you can sort of customize the portal more specifically to your needs. So my Astor Place community, this goes ahead and highlights how expansive our software is. You can see a lot more additional features here. And then with my Broadway Park community, this one is a little bit more simple. So we can essentially customize the different feature set to your community's needs specifically. Now, going back to my Riverside community, I want to go ahead and quickly mention that I am currently logged in as the master administrator. So I currently have the highest level of access to this system, but we essentially have 11 different profiles associated with our portal. And with each different profile, you could decide who has access to the different portions within the system. So some communities might have one master administrator, or they might have multiple, but we also have an administrator level, which is just below that. We also have a property manager level, board member, staff, all the way down to owners and renters. But essentially with each different profile, you could decide who has access to the different portions within the system. And as part of our 5-channel approach to communication, it starts with community news and notices. So, this capability here is a great way that just allows you to communicate with the whole community in multiple fashions. So when you post a notice here, we'll send out a mass email, but it can also send out an SMS text message or a push notification directly to our app. And then this is also a location where residents can log in and view these notices at any point in time, as long as you don't provide an expiration date. To go ahead and post a new notice, just go ahead and click on the add button here, enter in the title of the notice, information about it. You can schedule it for a future date if you'd like, set an expiration date so it's no longer viewable after a certain time period. Maybe you have a paving project that ends next Saturday. You can go ahead and put the expiration date. And then you can provide a list of attachments associated with it, so any documents or photos. And then here's how you can segment the communication to specific recipients. So most of the time, it just makes sense to send out that mass communication to the whole community. But we do have the ability to segment that communication to particular members within the community. So if you're within a condominium building, a condominium that has multiple buildings, we can go ahead and populate the system with the different building numbers, as well as the different street names within a single family home community. Sorry, my mouse is being a little funky right now. So we can go ahead and populate all the different street names or building numbers to go ahead and segment that communication to those specific areas within the community. Even further, we can segment the communication to specific units or homes within that street or within the building, even further to specific profiles. So our portal does support 3 different resident profiles. We have an absentee owner profile, a primary resident profile, and an additional resident profile, which you could utilize how you see fit. And then the next item would be our social network tool. So this is just a great way you can help build a sense of community for residents. They can post about an item they have up for sale, or maybe there's a lost pet within the community. Maybe there's an event that they want to invite their neighbors to. They can go ahead and post about it here. Residents can like and comment on each other's posts, favorite each other's posts if they'd like. And then as an administrator, you can easily remove anyone's posts or anyone's comments at any point in time. So if anyone posts anything unruly against your rules and regulations, you can easily remove those items. I would say this is utilized by about 50% of our communities. So if you decide this is not something that you want to make available to your residents, we can easily remove it from the portal. And then the next item would be our contact section, which essentially acts as a directory of all the members of the community. So this is where your residents would come and view information about your property managers, if you have one, any maintenance staff or board members, as well as the other residents within the community. But keep in mind, when anyone's data is uploaded into the system, it's automatically going to be set to private. So you don't have to worry about giving away your residents' important information without their consent. But everyone does have the ability to go into their settings and adjust any of those to public if they would like. They also have the ability to decide if they want to receive direct chat messages from other residents as well. So as you can see, if you click on send message, you can go ahead and send this individual a chat message right in the subject, the message, any attachments associated with it, and click send. And this will go ahead and send an in-app chat message directly to this section, but it will also send that individual an email as well as a push notification to our app. So this chat feature, kind of like a Facebook Messenger, if you want to think about it that way, just back and forth communication from one individual to another. But this is also a great place where we can host group communication as well. So our portal does have the ability to build out customized groups where you can host group communication, such as for the various committees within your community or one for all of your board members as an example. So if you wanted to send out a group message, just go ahead and click on the add button. You can either send that direct message or a group message to one of the groups that you're a part of. Go and select the group, such as your board members, ArcView committee, or your communications committee as an example. Go ahead and enter the subject, the message, and then go ahead and click on send. Then this will immediately send your communications committee an email, a push notification to our app, and then that in-portal chat message, which they can then respond to as well. Now I skipped over the community calendar, so I'll go ahead and briefly mention that. We do have our event calendar right here. Pretty straightforward, but just a great way to go ahead and let folks know what's going on within the community. You can go ahead and put your maintenance schedule. If you have any events coming up or board meetings, you can go ahead and post those directly to the calendar. What's great about this is you can actually segment specific events to the different profiles within the system. So if it's something that you only need your board members and management to see, you can go ahead and put it directly on their calendars. Or if it's a board meeting that you only want to invite your owners to, you can go ahead and decide that as well. So it wouldn't show up on the tenant's calendar. Then the next item would be our service request feature. So this is kind of our tool to handle any maintenance related items within your community. This is also our tool that we utilize for architecture reviews. So you can input a formal process for that. But this section does allow you to go ahead and add the different subjects that you might deal with on a frequent basis within your community. So these are all customizable. You can add your own subjects here. And what's great about this is each individual subject can be routed to different administrators. So if I go ahead and click on create new subject, just go ahead and type in the subject name, for example, other, and you want it specifically to go to Stacy, your property manager, Ben, head of maintenance, yourself, and Jim, the secretary, to be the 4 administrators in charge of that subject. You can essentially do that with each individual subject. So for example, you have a landscaping committee, you can have all of your landscaping issues routed directly to your landscaping committee, which makes it very helpful. Now for a resident to go ahead and generate a service request, they go ahead and click on the service request feature. They can do this directly from their portal on their desktop or from their smartphone app as well. Go ahead and click on the add button here. Enter in the subject. Let's go ahead and say there's an issue with landscaping. They would type in their issue here, any attachments associated with it, and then go ahead and click on send. So this will immediately send to any of your administrators in charge of landscaping. Go ahead and click on OK. And then going back as an administrator, you can go and see that service request that was just created. So as you can see here, number 189, it was just created, today's date, subject is landscaping, fill up the requester, and then you can see the status is open because it hasn't been dealt with yet. So you can go ahead and click on that communication, go ahead and view what the issue is. If they did provide any attachments, they'd be clickable just right down here. And then you can go ahead and reply to the requester. Let them know what steps you're taking to fix the item, or if it's in progress. You can provide additional attachments, maybe if you want to show proof to the resident that the item is fixed, and then go ahead and click on send message. And then this status update will send a communication back and forth from administrators and the resident. So you can go ahead and let them know if it's in progress. And maybe if you need more information from the resident, you can go ahead and input that. Or if you want to go ahead and close off the maintenance request if everything is taken care of. Go ahead and click on confirm. And then this communication will be forever stored here. So you can go ahead and go back and view at a later date if necessary, or even reopen the request if there is still an issue with it. And then when you do close off these maintenance requests, it does allow the resident the ability to provide a rating on how well they think it was taken care of. So, you could take it with a grain of salt if a resident just, says something negative about the issue, but it does provide a good way for you to sort of monitor your vendor performance, just to see how well all of your different maintenance issues are being taken care of. And then the next item would be our amenity scheduling tool. So this, if you do have any different amenities within your community, this is our tool to allow residents to go ahead and reserve them. So your clubhouse, pool, tennis courts, or maybe your gym, as an example, we can go ahead and populate all those different amenities, and they can each have their own calendar of availability. So when a resident goes ahead and reserves an amenity, I'll go ahead and show you how that works. Again, they could do this directly from their smartphone as well. They can go ahead and quickly click on details about your amenities, such as hours of operation, general information, or terms of use. They can see if there's a maximum capacity associated with it or a cost to reserve the amenity, and then click on the calendar of availability. They can go ahead and choose what date and time they'd like to reserve it for. Go ahead and select that time slot, click on reserve. They can go ahead and create a guest list, which will allow them to let the board know who's joining them on the property at that time, or if they want to sort of create an RSVP list for their residents or for their guests to go ahead and let them know if they're joining them for the event. And then they have to click on confirm reservation, view your terms of use and agree to them, and then go ahead and click on confirm. And then you could make it so your reservations are automatically approved or pending for whatever reason. Maybe it's you need your deposit to be made prior to the acceptance of that reservation, whatever it might be. And then the next item would be our document repository. But let me go ahead and show you from the administrator perspective. Actually, there's a couple more before I go ahead and get there. So we do have a couple of additional communication tools. We have the ability to send out a direct text message. So it's a really powerful communication tool for you to just go in here and send a direct text to one resident or a mass text to the whole community. But what's great about this is you're not texting the resident with your own personal cell phone number. They won't necessarily know who is texting them, but it's just a great, powerful communication tool in the event of an emergency. But we also do have the ability to send out a smart call as well. So a smart call, instead of a text message, it will send out a voice automated message in the form of like a Siri or Alexa style voice. So go ahead and select the community. You can go ahead and send a mass smart call to everyone at once in the event of an emergency. Or if you know that Sharon Hughes relies on her landline for communication, this is a great way you can go ahead and reach out to her. Go ahead and click on save, write your message, enter in the title of the smart call, enter in the message here. You could send a test smart call to yourself just to hear how it sounds over the phone before you send it. And then when you're ready, go ahead and click on send smart call. But again, just another powerful communication tool that you can utilize. And then the next item would be our document repository. So this is just a great way to increase transparency within your community. You'd be very specific about your organization of your documents here by creating multiple folders. As you can see, multiple subfolders, more subfolders after that if you like. You're actually not limited to the amount of subfolders that you can create in this system. And then what's great about this is you can go ahead and decide with each file and folder who can access them. So as you can see, some of these are only available to my managers and administrators, or only administrators as an example. So if you want to make certain files and folders available to anyone in the community, you can go ahead and put it as public. So when I log in here as a resident, I would only see the files and folders that exist to the resident profile tag or available as public to everyone within the community. And to add a document to the system, it's pretty simple, but keep in mind, this is something we would do during the initial build out of your website and portal. We have a very thorough onboarding process. So as part of that, we will help upload all of your community documents and more within the portal. But this is just how you go ahead and add a new folder or a new file. So if you go ahead and click on add new file, just upload the document from your computer, decide who you want to make it visible to. So you can be very specific about who can access that document. You can make it private to specific people if you'd like. or even to a specific profile, such as only your board members as example, or board and maintenance staff. And then you can go ahead and send out a notification when the document is uploaded via email or push notification. And then you can go ahead and put a due date as well. So this due date will remind you of a warranty date, or maybe if a violation needs to be remedied at that time, it will go ahead and provide a reminder in the system. And then go ahead and click on add. And then the next item would be our virtual meeting tool. So this is actually a full Zoom integration within our Neighbors portal. You can go ahead and host meetings with residents, meeting with board members directly through your Neighbors portal. What's great about this is you don't actually need a Zoom license to utilize this feature. It is just one of our premium plan items, to go ahead and create a new meeting, you just go ahead and click on the add button here. Go ahead and type in your meeting information, your agenda for the meeting. You can type out your meeting minutes, which you could download after the meeting is over, store them in your document storage tab to make them available to residents, help increase transparency. You can also generate a poll or survey directly during the meeting. So if you're trying to gain residents' feedback about a particular topic, you can go ahead and ask a few questions during the meeting. And then when this is all set up, go ahead and click on publish. And then as an administrator, you can easily go back and access all of your meeting information. Just go ahead and click on view. You'll have access to your meeting recording. It will be made available after the meeting is over. And then you can go ahead and print off the different results, such as your attendance list, meeting minutes, and then if you did provide a vote or survey during the meeting, go ahead and print off those results as well. Then we do have a separate vote or survey tool. So kind of like a Survey Monkey, if you want to think about it that way, just an easy way you can go ahead and get feedback from your residents. To go ahead and generate a new survey, just go ahead and click on the add button here, enter in the title of the survey, some information about it, add an activation date, closing date, and closing time. So if you want to make it available for 2 weeks, a month, you can go ahead and decide that. You can go ahead and notify residents prior to the closing of the survey, 1 day, 2 days, just to remind them to get their feedback in. You can have them visualize a partial result so they can see how the rest of the community is voting at that time. And then you do have the ability to provide an open vote or not. So if you want it to be anonymous, you can go ahead and decide that. You could segment the vote or survey to particular individuals within the community if necessary. And then setting up your survey is pretty simple. You can ask multiple questions. You're actually not limited to the amount of questions that you can ask. Just type out the question here, and then the answer can be in the form of an open answer, single reply, or multiple answers. You can make certain questions required to answer the entire survey, and then provide attachments associated with each question as well. Then when you're ready, go ahead and click on publish, and this will send out a notification via email and push notification to your residents. And then after the survey is over, you can go ahead and view the results in a nice graphical representation, and this will be an example of that. So I can go ahead and cipher through the different questions, see my responses here. Obviously, this is a test account, so there's not a ton of data here. If you're able to get 30, 40 votes, you have some nice populated data. You can also download these results, store them in your document storage tab if you'd like. And then just to go ahead and mention, under community management and features, this is how you go ahead and toggle on and off the different features that you'd want to be utilizing within your portal. And we do have some different features that I had not mentioned yet, so I'll go ahead and briefly talk about those. We do have an integration with QuickBooks Online, so that will help you understand your community's budget, your assets, liabilities. You can go ahead and send invoices directly through that QuickBooks integration. So we are really excited about that. Contact group, that is our tool to build customizable groups within the portal to host group communication. You can also segment documents to those customized groups, and we are currently building upon that functionality. So we will have more to come on that. We do have an asset management tracking system, pretty simple system that just allows you to track the different assets that's owned by the board. Maybe it's a laptop, painting, maybe gym equipment. You can go ahead and add those to that tool and track them, such as your purchase date, warranty date, invoice number, the location of the item, etc. We do have a couple of additional tools, including our package tracking system. So if you happen to be a part of a high-rise condominium that maybe has a concierge that checks in packages coming onto the property, when they do receive the package, they can go ahead and easily notify the resident via text message, push notification, and email, letting them know that the package is ready for pickup. And we do have an access control system, which essentially allows you to track guests coming onto and off the property, but that does rely on a staff member, maybe it's a front gate attendant or security that checks in guests manually. We do have an incident reporting tool, which you could utilize. It's a great feature to provide a responsible platform for residents to report different items or incidences within the community. Maybe they want to report a suspicious person or vandalism, or maybe they just want to complain about their neighbor who had a party until 3 a.m. as an example. If you do have a concierge, you can go ahead and have a chat system that is routed directly to them. Just like our Talk to Manager, you can have a chat feature for residents that they can quickly send a direct chat directly to your property manager or concierge. And then we do have an integration with Paylease. They recently rebranded to become Zego, but it is another tool that we integrate with for receiving dues from residents if you'd like to utilize that. And then I want to go ahead and quickly show you under managers and my site. So this is how you go ahead and make adjustments to our public facing websites. So earlier, Layla mentioned that we do have 6 different templates you could choose from. You would go ahead and do so here. So as you can see, I can slide through the 6 different templates that we offer. You could view a quick sample of each individual template if you'd like. The templates don't vary too much. It just kind of changes the overall look and feel of your website. You could also decide which color scheme you prefer. Right now, you can see I have that maroon color highlighted, just kind of changes that accent color on my website. And then you could decide which sections you want to make available. So you can go ahead and click on and off these different sections that we have on our websites. So some of our communities, they just want very basic information on their website, such as their About Us section and a place to log in. You can go ahead and do that if you would prefer as well. And then you could easily adjust the information that you have on your website. So you could change your slogan really simply. You could easily edit your logo here, change your background image. So it's really simple to make those adjustments. You don't have to rely on anyone specific to make any of these edits. You can go ahead and do them yourself. So if I want to make adjustments to each individual section, such as your About Us section, you could change the title, easily highlight and delete the information you have displayed. You can adjust your image gallery very simply, just go ahead and delete them, add new ones from your computer, and then go ahead and click on Save and Publish, and then those changes will take effect in about 30 seconds or less. And then I want to go ahead and quickly mention, actually, I want to go ahead and show you a little bit of the resident perspective. Residents do have the ability to go ahead and click on a quick digestible dashboard. Sorry about that, a little bit of a tongue twister. But they can go ahead and quickly see any recent notices within the community, any social network posts that they've interacted with, any service requests that they've generated, amenity reservations. They can quickly see the status of them. So this one still says pending. It'll also let them know if it is approved, and then they can quickly view an event calendar. Under My Unit is where they would access all of the data associated with their unit. This is where the different resident information will be displayed. The primary residents, everybody does have their own emergency contacts they can add into the system. Any additional residents here. We also have the ability to track, as you can see, vehicle information, parking spaces, as well as pets. So if poor Brutus is lost within the community, you can go ahead and easily see who that belongs to. So that pretty much takes me through a bulk of our Neighbrs software solution. I would love to go ahead and set a one-on-one demo with you and your community so we can see how this would specifically fit within the needs of your association. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and jump back into our presentation here. All right.
Great. So I promised at the end that we would have a Q&A. We do have some questions here, but before that, I also promised that we had a little discount for you guys, and we do. So we have started our end of year sale now, and you can get a 50% discount and a 2-year price lock, which means that your price would not increase for 2 years if you sign up by November 25th. So if you go to the next slide, Frankie, we have contact information here. We'll also be sending you an email so you can just answer that. But you can email Frank at Vinteum or email me, Layla at Vinteum, and we can set up a one-on-one meeting with Frank. We can send you a proposal with that discount so you would be able to get started. And you can also call us on 844-900-0910. So do get in touch with us to get that 50% discount and 2-year price lock. It really is a great deal. Even though I am biased, it is a great deal. So let's jump into our Q&A section. So if you have any questions, please do post them in the Q&A. We have a few here already. So Jim asked, do you expect legislation to be forthcoming requiring HOAs to own their domain and website as is now required for COAs over 150 units? So is the law in Florida that condos over 150 units need a website? From the last thing I saw, and I think it was at the end of last year, was that they were planning on reducing 150 units for condos to 25 units. So they are thinking about expanding that legislation, but I think with the tragic Surfside collapse, they moved their focus to be more on building safety rather than websites. So from everything I've seen, I don't expect it to be forthcoming, but it is still good to have a website if you don't already, so that you are ahead of potential legislation that might be coming. And also because, like we've said, it provides really great web benefits. Vivian has asked how Vinteum data is stored and also what type of security do you offer for the website. So our data is stored in AWS, so Amazon Web Service. It's hosted, on AWS, and all of our data is stored in the US. Got that mixed up. But the platform is fully encrypted with HTTPS protocols. So I don't know if you noticed on our websites, there's a little lock in the top right-hand corner, which means that your connection is completely secure and any information is safe. And our database is also encrypted using secure socket layers, and access is highly restricted. So that data is extremely safe, and we got it with immense care. I hope that answers your question, Vivian. If you have any more, do let us know. And I've said that, and she has another one. Do you provide disaster recovery and or data backups? Yes, we do back up all of our data, and we have had in the past, someone has deleted files accidentally, and we backed that all, and that was all backed up, and we managed to restore it to their site. So we do provide that, yes. Alan has asked, what information is saved for absentee owners / residents? I mean, that depends on you. You can decide what absentee owners can see, what residents can see. So that really is up to you. You can completely customize that. If you want to set up a demo with Frank, you could go into that in more detail as to how you can customize it so that it is divided. It is, what's the word I'm looking for? Personalizable, depending on your needs.
Yes, exactly. And then if you're asking about specifically the data that is saved regarding residents and absentee owners, we do have the ability to save, obviously, phone numbers. You can have multiple emails for each individual resident. And then also if they have any pets or vehicle information, we can track those. And then for your absentee owners, we can go ahead and provide an additional address of where they are also located outside of your HOA or condominium as well. But yeah, there's pretty extensive amount of data we can go ahead and provide for your residents and absentee owners. There's also an additional details item, which is customizable. You can go ahead and fill out any additional information about those individuals as well.
Right, and I don't know if I missed it, but we also included emergency contact information.
Yes,
so
exactly.
If you're in Florida, where there are often hurricanes, or I mean, it's great to have emergency contact information anywhere. You can keep that stored in Neighbors as well. And then Eliza has asked, is this website Google based? So the website template is made in WordPress and it's hosted on Amazon Web Services, but it works well on Google. But it's so. And if that doesn't answer your question, let me know. Someone has asked, do you have credit card processing that puts fees on the customers? So we can process payments through Zego and they do charge fees, but I can't remember how much. We're also working on a QuickBooks integration that will be able to process payments soon. And Rosina has asked, do the residents register or do we enter that info? Thank you to answer that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So as part of our onboarding process, we would do the initial build out on your behalf. So we would actually go ahead and upload all of your residents' information for you. Of course, anything that you do have. So if you have your residents' addresses, emails, phone numbers, we would go ahead and take all that information and populate it for you. If you don't have any of your residents' information, we can go ahead and provide a direct registration link on your website as well. So they would just go ahead and click on the link, they would go ahead and register their own information, and then as an administrator, you can go ahead and approve or deny that individual's access. We also have the ability to create QR codes, which are pretty cool. So you can go ahead and post up QR codes around the community, maybe in your elevator, outside the clubhouse, where residents can go ahead and just snap on the QR code, and then they'll be able to input their information so they can access the portal.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to input the information, like Frankie said, we do that for you, which is great. It's often a lot quicker, but with residents actually registering, even though it takes a little bit longer, it is normally better data. So the one that you have might be out of date. And you know your community better than I do. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but when residents input it, it should be more accurate. Eliza also asked to clarify if AWS was Amazon Web Services. And it is. Yes, it is. And then someone has also asked, when do you expect the QuickBooks integration? So we have part of it up and running already, and we expect to finalize it by the end of the year for sure. We're aiming to have it done before then. And again, if you want more details, please do book a live demo with Frankie. He can answer all your questions in person and really go into your community's needs and wants and how we can help with those.
Exactly.
We have 2 more minutes here, so please do send in any more questions that you have. To book a live demo with Frankie, you can always email him, frank@vinteum.io, and the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner there also goes to his meeting page. So you could set up a meeting directly from this QR code if you'd like to do that. Otherwise, go on our website, www.vinteum.io, and we will happily talk to you there, and you can book a free demo there as well. And Rosina has asked, is the only way to get prices through booking the meeting? It's to get a personalized proposal, yes. But Frankie, do you want to
Sure.
talk about our price quickly?
Yeah, so our pricing depends on the size of your association, but also your needs as well. So we do have 3 different plans available. We have a basic package, a standard package, and a premium package. But each one of those are based on the amount of units within your community. So if you have 100 units or less, our pricing starts at 30 cents per unit for the basic plan. Standard is 45 cents per unit, and then the premium plan is 65 cents per unit. But we do have, again, 100 unit minimum, so it starts at $30, $45, and $65. But it goes up from there depending on the size of your association. The reason why we don't immediately just display our pricing information is because it might be a little bit difficult to understand, but if we are able to go ahead and go through with that demonstration, we could actually decide which plan is best for you and then provide that formal proposal based on the size of your community.
And I'm going to post Frank's meeting link here.
Perfect, thank you. And then we have another question regarding violations letter and documentation function. So we do have the ability to upload within the document storage section violation letters, and you could go ahead and make it private to just administrators and then the units attached to that violation. So when that document is uploaded, you could send out a notification letting them know that you just uploaded that violation letter. And then the system does provide a due date as well. So that'll go ahead and remind you if the violation need to be remedied by a specific date. So you could utilize that, and then you could also utilize our incident reporting function as well. So the incident reporting function allows you to generate specific incidences, which you could utilize for violations as well. If you want more information about that, I'd be happy to show you on how that works during a live demo as well.
Awesome. All right. We're 1 minute over our allotted time, so we'll close it here and let you guys get on with the rest of your day. If you do have any more questions, like I said, please do email myself or Frank. And we have our end of year sale on 50% discount and a 2-year price lock. So do get in touch with us. Once in a lifetime, guys.
Take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Frank. Great co-hosting. Thank you very much.
Great. Good job.
Have
See you as well.
a great rest of the day, everyone, and hopefully speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.